Hey there YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Mikey speaking. Today I got a video for you in regards to Oklahoma and its programs to help you buy a house with little to no money down. Now their programs they do have aren't just for first-time home buyers, so keep that in mind. But all these programs you have to have the intention of living in the house and staying in the house for a set period of time depending on the program. So without further ado, I want to say there's about 3, maybe 4 programs that I was able to actually find in regards to Oklahoma. And for the friend that I have living in Canadian County, this counts for Canadian County as well. Anyways, let's bring you to the computer. Per my usual starting point, we're going to actually bring you up to Bank of America. Let's zoom out a little bit. So Bank of America, as I've gone over for other home loan programs, this one actually does qualify for Oklahoma in certain counties, which I'll go into which ones. But the American Home Grant, I always reverse that, and the down payment grant both qualify for Oklahoma. The American Home Grant actually helps you with the closing costs up to $7,500, and you do not have to be a first-time home buyer. You do not have to complete the educational class, but keep in mind for both these programs, they do have restrictions on which counties, which areas, and basically how much of a house you can buy. By that I mean like the actual price of the house. They don't say it on this program though, since I figure every state, every county is different and they cover a lot of states and counties. Without actually calling them, you won't know. Now, the down payment grant covers 3% or $10,000 of the purchasing price, whichever is less. Again, you do not have to be a first-time home buyer, but you do have to complete the educational class. And that income that you receive, that amount that's to help you, may be taxed, so keep that in mind. As always, all the links will be down below for each of these programs. Now, if you want to press pause really quick for the American Home Grant, these are going to be the counties right here that are available for this program, which is going to be a lot more than the down payment grant, which, as you see, compared to like 10 plus, you're looking at less than 10 basically. All right, the next program is, I put program name. I am so sorry about that. Let's just fix this up so I can have for later purposes. Bam. All right. This is the Partners of Tulsa First Time. Now, this program actually did give a bit more information as far as income restrictions and housing restrictions. The housing price, you can look on the website. It'll go more into details of how much the house can be, which usually I want to say usually, not usually, for both of these programs is going to be depending whether you buy a new or used house. So please keep that in mind. If you're buying a new construction property, it's going to be more that they're willing to offer you. Now, the first program I went over was a grant. This one's going to be a loan. It will be a deferred loan though, so you won't have to pay it unless you sell the property, don't live in the property, rent it, or do a refinance. They'll assist you up to $5,000 of your down payment, or it could be for closing costs. I don't remember exactly, but they'll help you up to $5,000. You have to come $1,000 out of pocket. Again, the payment will be deferred. And if you look at the income limits here, if you're a household of 1, 2, 3, you'll have the different limits. It's between around $40,000 to $73,000 of max income. I feel like these amounts, a lot of the times they won't change this on the website, but they'll have new amounts every year depending on inflation, deflation, house income. They take a variety of things to figure out the household limits and income. So please keep that in mind and call them in case you don't qualify for this because you might be making just a little bit too much. If you contact them, these limits might have increased. And as I said, the home sale price does matter. There's a limit to it. Now, that one's strictly for Tulsa. Wow. I can't say the name now. Tulsa. I have to look at it to be able to say it. I lived in Oklahoma. I should be able to say these programs' names. But now let's bring you to one that's not just in one county or city. I don't know what Tulsa is. I just know it's an area over there. Anyways, let's bring you over to the city of Oklahoma, the home program. Now, this one is both a loan and a grant, or a forgivable loan. So it's not per se a grant, but it could be considered a grant. They give you up to $15,000. It was like $14,999. And if you lived in Canadian County, it was a little bit less. It was like $14,549 or something like that. Up to 15 grand. Now, this can be for down payment assistance as well as closing cost assistance. It is a forgivable loan. So it'll go more into detail later, but basically, a forgivable loan is as long as you meet their terms and conditions, you won't have to pay that money back. And this one is going to be prorated. Again, we'll get into that in a moment. Must live in the property for 5 years in order to have the full benefits of the forgivable loan, which actually we went into that a lot sooner than I thought. Thought it was a little bit more down the list. Basically, that's saying that as long as you live in the property 5 years, you don't have to pay that money back. But the nice thing is, let's say you lived in the house for 2.5 years and you borrowed 10 grand, let's say, then you only have to pay $5,000 back because they prorate the amount that you had to have paid for the amount that you've lived in the property. So something to keep in mind. It is, in my opinion, a great program to use. You must be low medium income household according to the HUD guidelines. Complete a workshop. It is a very extensive 4-step workshop, but for someone who is a first-time home buyer, I think it might be useful. They do have a limit, just like I said on the one above, a purchasing price limit. So for this one, it's going to be $147,000 for existing homes and $238,000 for new homes. And this is what I'm saying. There's a huge difference in between. In Oklahoma, I haven't looked at the prices recently, but definitely for new homes, you can find a house within that range. For existing homes, that's going to be pushing it. You're looking at maybe 1,200 square foot, which still can be a great starter home. So definitely, last I checked, within limits. But just like here, where we're gonna go over the income limits, the purchasing price limit and the income limits change every year, or have the ability to change every year. Not that they have to. But contacting this program, which again, the link will be down below, to get the most updated information will probably help you. You do not have to be a first-time home buyer. The Tulsa one, I don't want to say, I didn't read that you had or couldn't be a first-time home buyer. I didn't say anything on that. The Bank of America one, you don't have to be, and nor this one. So keep that in mind. They do have select locations that you can apply for this program. Again, getting in contact with them will help. And you have to have basically between 1% and 2% of the down payment. So what are the purchasing price, which is basically the down payment. So unless you have 1% to 2% ready in hand, you won't be able to qualify for this program. Income limits, here goes some of the income limits, which is subject to change, but this is just like a guideline to kind of, like, if you're a household of one and you're making 70 grand, I don't think the program would have changed that much. So this way you know immediately whether you qualify or not. So that's covering Oklahoma and the cities and counties that are covered. You have the city of Oklahoma, Canadian County. Bank of America has a bunch of cities and counties that they cover as well, which you again just go back and press pause and you can see which ones those are. Tulsa as well. These are all programs that can help you buy a house, be a first-time home buyer, buy your second or third house as long as you have the intention of living in this house. So keep that in mind. If you know anyone in Oklahoma, please share this with them and they may find it useful. And if you found this useful, hit like and subscribe. I will be happy and thankful. Anyways, to the next video. Hope you enjoyed this. Bye.